Good evening, Honorable. We have visited Honorable just to ask a few questions because he's a politician of note. So, Honorable, I've been meaning to ask this question for a long time. As an African watching the news, we're always hearing of the left wing politics and right wing politics. Most of us don't know what it means. So, do you tell us in short what it means?
Thank you, Chief Lusambo. I'm honored to host you.
Thank you, thank you.
It is my honor on a Sunday like this, to receive you. And I think you'll be surprised that it is a question that is out there in the minds of millions of people.
Yes.
They've heard about right wing, left wing politics, but they are not very sure, or some think they know,
Yes.
when in actual fact they don't.
Yeah.
I think, firstly, before I look at how left wing and right wing, in terms of political ideology and social and economic perspective, let's look at the origin,
Yes.
because through the origin sometimes you find that you can, in a way, contextualize the definition or the difference between like the right wing and left wing. So the term right wing and left wing, you'll be surprised it did not originate in the UK or USA.
Okay.
Actually, it did originate in France,
Okay.
and that was in the 18th century, 1789. 1799 to be specific, and that was the French Revolution.
Okay.
When they overthrow the monarch.
Oh.
So they were successful in overthrowing the monarch in 1789. And those who were pro the monarch were then defined as people on the right.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So those who were defending the monarch were on the right.
Ah.
And those who were progressive, with a progressive view, who wanted sort of a republican democratic aspect of France, became the left wing.
Oh, so that's why.
So, given that origin, you can actually say you can actually depict or come up with a sort of a simplistic definition of the right and left versus left.
Yes.
So the right are people who want to maintain the status quo.
Ah.
Whereas if you look at the left wing, these are people with a progressive view and who normally are pro-democratic change.
Oh, so in our Zimbabwean context?
Yeah, if you look at it in our Zimbabwean context, yes. Then ZANU-PF would be the right wing.
Okay, okay.
They want to maintain the status quo, and I'll fully define, looking at also in terms of the political ideology, economic, and also in terms of macroeconomics.
Okay.
The difference from that. But in a Zimbabwean context, we're looking at ZANU-PF being on the right wing, and then MDC, Triple C being on the left wing.
Okay, yeah.
So now, having sort of given a perspective and contextualization of the origin of the left and the right wing, now let's look at how do you identify whether this party is a right wing or this one is a left wing. Because I think there are certain criteria that actually makes it stand out, whether you're right wing or left wing.
Yes.
Although sometimes it can be a very blurred line in terms of, if you look at countries like UK, it can be a very blurred line. Why is it so? It's basically because people's view of right and left change from time to time.
Oh.
This is why they're able to change the government. So those who may have voted for right wing in the past may decide, the right wing ideology, I didn't benefit from their policies.
So I'm changing to the left,
I'm changing to the left.
of which is unheard of in our African politics.
Yes. And also, one thing that is need to be emphasized is that the difference between left and right is an ideological notion.
Okay.
What that means is that it is a blurred line. Sometimes the left wing may decide to go to the right.
I have a question again there. Oh, probably you've answered it before I've asked it.
Yeah,
Can the right decide to change to the left?
it did. And we see that. I'll give you an example of UK, for example. I think the UK gives a very good example of that view of a blurred line between the left and the right. If you look at in 2019, the Conservative won by the majority. They got 317 seats.
Okay.
And the Conservative is to the right. It's not in the right side of the. So here, look at the left and right as being a sort of a scale. So either the party is on the center, or it is on the left or to the right.
Oh.
But rarely do you have a situation, for example, in the UK perspective, whereby the right remain to the extreme right, or the left remain to the extreme left. Maybe to give you a sort of a good example is, maybe people out there might want to know, okay, from a UK perspective, which parties are on the left and which parties are on the right.
Okay, yes.
So if you look at in the political system in the UK, Labour is left wing, Lib Dem is left wing,
Okay.
and then you've got the Green Party is to extreme of the left wing.
Okay.
But mainly, if you look at the Green Party, cannot be sort of equated to Labour or Liberal Dem in the sense that they are environmentalists.
Oh. They are more inclined to the environment aspect of things.
And then you look then at the right to say, okay, fine, which are those parties in the UK that are on the right wing? And then we see the Conservative itself to extreme of right wing UK reform.
Okay, these are reformists.
So, yes, so Conservative reformists are also try to beat about the EU Parliament setup, because it's even within the EU governance, there is that inclination to whether you are to the left or to the right.
Okay.
Even within the EU itself. So yes, so you've got those two to the extreme right, UK reform to the extreme right, and then the Conservative to the right, and then you've got Labour there to the left. But why I said sometimes, because it's an ideological notion, is because it's no party stays extremely on a fixed Richter scale.
Yeah.
So they, depending on their policies, they may move to Labour may move to the center,
Okay.
center left, right? And sometimes from the center they may actually move a bit to the right.
Okay.
And why is it? It's basically either they during the campaign, for example, and so you conservative, which have been in power for over 14 years,
Mm-hmm.
and certain policies of the conservative, in other words, certain policies
Mm-hmm.
of the right didn't work.
Oh.
Right? Or, in a way, they did not benefit the generality of the population of UK.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you are to the left, what you need to do is to say, okay, what are those right-wing policies that didn't work, and how do you fix it?
Mm-hmm.
You cannot fix those right-wing policies whilst being, permanently on the extreme left.
No.
You then need to move from left to the right because those policies are right-wing.
No, I get it.
So then you approach it from the fact that you then say, okay, fine,
Mm-hmm.
that didn't work. Of course, you don't want to go into extreme right because that means making it worse.
Mm-hmm.
But you have inherited those policies. You then look at them, you then refine them and bring them from right to the center, or a little bit to near to the center as possible from the right wing,
Okay.
so that it actually attracts the voters.
Ah.
And in the term, if you look at it from the Labour point of view, it did work.
It did work.
Because there was a swing from 2019 where
Mm-hmm.
Conservative got 317 seats
Mm-hmm.
and Labour got 264 seats,
Wow.
to 2024, where today
Mm.
Conservative got 121 seats and Labour got 411 seats.
Yeah.
So from
that's
truth, but you cannot do that without changing position on the scale
it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to the center right.
Okay.
So that's how it is. But then, back again to your question, and also our earlier introduction to say, how then do you identify whether this party is left or right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me start with in terms of economics.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll find that parties that are on the left,
Mm-hmm.
ideologically they are social democrats,
Okay. Okay.
and then you then go to the right,
Mm-hmm.
those are conservatives or reformists,
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
and then you then go down in terms of what are the approaches in terms of economic policies.
Mm-hmm.
You find that the parties to the left believe in what's sometimes called the big government.
Mm-hmm.
They believe in welfare state. In other words, looking after the poor,
Okay. Okay.
welfare for the poor.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the taxation, their approach is that you tax the rich
In order to.
so that you increase your tax receipts, and that money can then be channeled into social services to benefit,
Okay.
the less privileged.
Mm-hmm.
That's the economic approach, the right wing of the left wing.
All right.
And then they also believe in that they have to bring in regulation to control the capitalists,
All right.
the big companies.
The big companies, yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go to the right wing. The right wing is looking at, yeah, we believe in individual freedoms, whereas the left believe in individual liberty.
Okay.
And some people they use those interchangeably, but they are totally different. And then the right wing believe in capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
They also believe that there must be less taxation to the rich, less taxation to businesses,
Mm-hmm.
because most of the conservatives, they own those businesses, so it's for their own benefit.
Yeah, obviously.
So this is why it's conservative, because they want to conserve what they already have, which they inherited.
Oh, most of them never went for.
Yes, they never went. They just woke up in the morning. Either they were born billionaires, born millionaires,
Yeah.
so they never
That makes sense.
experience, economic hardships themselves. And so they believe in the status quo in terms of businesses, in terms of inheritance,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what they are. So that's the approach in terms of economics.
Ah, I get it.
And then just to amplify that, look at the NHS today,
Mm-hmm.
right? The NHS started in 1946 and it was introduced by Labour.
Oh,
Yes, it was introduced by Labour.
okay.
Yeah. As a welfare state. So this is where the welfare state is coming from.
Ah.
Because before then,
Mm-hmm.
the poor had no respite in terms of access to health.
Yeah.
If you were poor, tough luck.
So they were protecting it for the rich.
Today,
Mm.
NHS is a global model of many countries.
Mm-hmm.
But then, even after Labour was kicked out of power by the Conservative,
Mm-hmm.
then you find that Conservative, they didn't abolish the NHS.
They actually.
So if you reflect, I said earlier on
Mm-hmm.
that the left wing or right wing is not permanent in terms of policy ideology. So even the right wing decided, that the right wing policy of NHS is actually good,
So let's just maintain it.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's, you try today to say you are going to abolish NHS. That's it. As a political party, that's the end of your politics,
Yeah, it won't work.
right?
Mm.
But that's left wing policy.
Okay.
So you look at that's from the economic aspect of it, and in terms of I talked about in terms of liberty.
Mm-hmm.
So the right wing believes in individual freedom,
Mm-hmm.
and individual freedom here defined as you can do whatever you want,
Mm-hmm.
wherever you want, right?
Okay.
But it's easier said than done,
Yeah, it is.
in the sense that it's the same conservative with their individual freedom, which I just alluded to, who came to Africa to colonize us
Yes.
in the name of individual freedom,
Yeah.
who bought slaves, traded with slaves in the name of individual freedom,
Okay.
who oppressed everybody in the name of individual freedom.
Yeah.
So it's contextualized, it's subjective.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go to the left wing, they believe in individual liberty. Now, individual liberty is freedom and having a choice, the right of choosing.
So what you okay?
You know, what you want to exercise,
Mm-hmm.
and as not defined in a small classic society, but broadly that everybody must have individual liberties to exercise their right wherever they want it. And that the government's role is to supervise and ensure that those liberties are enshrined in law and that they are adhered to. And that, the strong is challenged to protect the weak. And that's social democratic aspect. That's the left wing.
All right. So, in conclusion, which one is the best model according to your research as an academic?
Look at it. It's there's no one political ideology that is the best or better than the other. And I think the British system has shown that.
Yes.
This is why the left wing will take certain policies from the right wing, and the right wing will take certain policies from
the left wing.
So the best policy is right in the middle.
Okay.
It's right in the middle, which is on the center, where parties move between center to right, right to left, and then back to right. So if you ask me which one is the better, it's the combination.
It's a combination of the two.
Of the two, yeah.
That makes sense.
And if you look at it, to the right wing normally in terms of their political ideology, they believe in nationalism.
Okay.
And then left wing believes in internationalism. Now, what does that mean? Today we talk about globalization, we talked about global village, countries interconnecting, immigration and inclusion, diversity.
Exactly.
Those are essence of left wing.
Okay.
Right. And then you go to the right, the essence of right wing is that of nationalism, identity, keeping the identity.
All right.
Yeah.
That's why probably like what we've recently witnessed in England.
Indeed.
Those are the right wing.
Right. So to the extreme, this is why even in the BBC, even the government, we always say, this violence that being, sort of staged by the extreme right wing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It is important to put the word extreme.
Exactly.
Because there's nothing wrong in being right wing.
But now.
But there's something wrong in being extreme right wing.
Yeah. So in other words, they are extremists.
That's correct.
I've only heard that word extremist being used when they are like, the Islamic insurgencies.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So if you look at it, this is why I said the right wing, they are the nationalists. They believe in nationhood.
Okay.
Status quo, the face of Britain must not change.
Yeah.
They don't believe in legal migration. They don't believe in that. Despite the fact that even the British themselves are almost in every country, in every continent.
Yes.
Through migration. And they are accepted, and they've improved various economies, and the immigrants here, they revolutionized the economy of this country. And for example, even the Jaguar Land Rover is owned by immigrants.
Oh yes.
Which is actually a sort of an iconic car brand, British brand.
Yes.
The British still is now owned by immigrants. Just to mention a few.
Yeah.
Most of so it's neither here or there. But what any government, whether right wing or left wing, need to acknowledge the importance of coexistence.
Yes, yes.
And not only that, but also that there's no policy that is purely left wing, especially in the 21st century,
Yeah.
where the political landscape, the economic landscape, the social landscape, the demographic landscape has changed. In any country, whether you like it or not, it has changed.
Yes.
And you have to accept that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So yeah. So that's in summary, in short.
Thank you so much, Mr. Peve,
You're welcome.
the honorable one.
I'm sure you benefited today. Or you've learned quite a lot.
Yes, I've learned quite a lot.
You know, and I'm sure those people or viewers out there would benefit also from.
Definitely.
I don't claim to know everything, but
Yeah.
Being an academic, I've got the benefit and the advantage of research
Yes.
in specific areas and understanding the geopolitics of the globe.
Yeah, indeed. Thank